to discuss with you the both challenges and benefits of studying your graduate business degree in the United States. I've had the advantage, along with my colleague Nicole Westfall, to travel around the world recruiting students, and we often get the same questions about not only the application process, but the process of acclimating to the U.S., not only in terms of culture, but also the academic environment. And then, of course, many questions regarding the job search process, attaining an H-1B visa, and how the OPT and CPT works. So the way we're going to conduct today's session is we're going to cover a number of topics which we feel will be relevant to you. We have students from all over to discuss with you each one of these topics, and then my colleague will discuss with you a little bit about the Robinson College of Business at the end of the program. So before we get started, I would like to introduce our panel of students. We have Felipe Landano, who is an MBA student studying marketing, who is from Medellin, Colombia. GC Zhang is one of our Masters of Actuarial Science Mathematical Risk students, Mathematical Risk Management students. Will discuss the visa process and actually moving to the U.S. Aniket Durop is our MSIS student, that's Information Systems, from India, who's going to talk to you a little bit about actually moving here and adjusting to the academic and cultural life in the U.S. And then finally, Catherine Lee is one of our accounting students who's going to talk about the job search process, finding an internship, and then the CPT and OPT rules as they apply to you as a graduate student. My colleague Nicole Westfall will conclude the webinar with some information about Georgia State. We will then open up the forum to questions where you will have the opportunity to type your question into the box, and then one of our colleagues will answer your questions. So please save your questions to the end. So we're really excited. This is the first time we've done this webinar and are really thrilled to give you information which we feel will be vital to you as you study, hopefully at Georgia State, but definitely in the United States. So at this point, I'm going to turn things over to Felipe Landano to tell you a little bit about his experience through the application process of his graduate program.
Hello everybody, how are you? Felipe Landano. From Medellin, Colombia. When I started looking with my wife to go abroad and study, I searched all around the world, and we had different choices. One was Europe, and then there was US. Then we started looking at what was happening in the economy, and then we see that US was the best option for us because it's where it's happening. All is happening in the world, and the economy is doing very well. The second thing you have to start thinking about is the city. We look through different cities around the US. We look New York, we look Boston, we look Atlanta, Florida, Miami, Florida. Then I just pick small things and big things about the cities, and then I found out that Atlanta is one of the cities in the US that is growing faster, and not just going faster. A lot of things are happening here. Big business, we have big companies as Coca-Cola, as Delta, as Home Depot, but not all these companies are like the ones you know, but now there are like small and middle companies that are growing very, very fast, not just in Atlanta, but all over the US and in the world. Then the third thing you have, after I choose Atlanta, I start looking for schools. We have very, very, very good schools, but at the end, I check recognized universities, I check the ranking, I check the programs, and after that, I made my election for Georgia State University. I think I did a very, very good choice. The next thing is choosing the program. In the university, you can have like a variety of programs. I choose the MBA. It's a flex MBA, and I want to do my specific. My area is marketing, so I can choose at the beginning. I can do like the general MBA, and at the end I can choose different types of programs. I choose my master in marketing. Maybe you have some questions about the process. This is not a one-day decision. It's I make this decision like a year before coming here. I need to set up, leave everything ready in Colombia, right? Then I have to start studying for the GMAT. I'm sure most of you speak English very good, but for the TOEFL, I did a very small course, not just because I didn't know how to speak English or write English, it's because the methodology of the exam. So it's very good if you look some books or look on the internet or take a small course in your country just to see which is the methodology of the TOEFL and do some small tests before taking the exam. What about the GMAT? The GMAT, it's weird for foreigners, especially for me. What I can say is not a difficult exam. The exercises are not difficult. There is one thing that is really, really important. It's about time. Because when you see the exercises, they are not difficult, but because they are timing, that is the issue. For example, you can take 2 or 3 minutes to do an exercise, but in the GMAT, you can't do it. You must do it in 45 seconds, right? So what I highly suggest you is when you study for the GMAT, time yourself. That's something I did. I don't know if it works for all of them, for all the students, but it works for me at that time. Then the application process, after you take the GMAT, your TOEFL, I think one really important thing are the essays. Please pay attention to the essays, write what you really think, because that's like your presentation letter at the university, as well as your resume or your CV. In Colombia, for example, we have like long resumes, like 4 or 5 pages resumes. I don't know how it works in each of your country, but here in the US, resumes or CVs are very short. So please check your resumes, maybe have an advice for a person that lives here in the US, or check on the internet how is the layout of the resume or your CV, because it's really important to fit the way recruiters, not just university recruiters, but as well job recruiters check on your CV. Nicole, what do you think? We should speak.
Yeah, so I see that Natalia had a question about the GMAT, and I figured we should maybe address it while we are on the subject of the GMAT. So the question is it possible to start the admissions process without having the GMAT score already? And it is fine so it's different for each school. Some schools require you to have all of your materials before you even start the application process. But here at Georgia State, we encourage students to start the application process as soon as they can. And then if you take your test score after you've submitted your application, that's totally fine. We allow time after you've submitted your application to send in any extra materials, such as your test scores, transcripts, letters of recommendation, and any other supporting documents that you might have. So that's a great question. Now keep in mind that it does vary by school, but as far as Georgia State is concerned, we are flexible with that. And thank you, Felipe. Most great overview. And we're going to turn it over to Keith, who is going to talk to us about the visa process.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is GC, and you can just call me Keith if you like. And I'm from China. Okay. Oh, I will stand up right closer.
Yeah. Keith's going to come a little closer so that everyone can hear her.
Okay, my name is Keith, and I'm from China, and now I'm in the Master of Actuarial Science and Master of Mathematical Risk Management dual degree in Georgia State here. I will talk about the visa process for international students. And firstly, you need to get a financial document if you want to get your I-20 form. Normally, you just deposit a sum of money into the bank, and they will offer you a certificate about this deposit, and make sure that it'll be valid until you can get your visa. So normally, if you are going to be enrolled in a program in fall, you should make the financial documents valid until July or August. And then if you want to get your I-20 form, normally the ISSS department is International Students Scholarship and Services Department. That's the name of Georgia State University, and it may vary. They will send you an email about everything you need to prepare, and normally you just need to fill in some forms about information they need, and also you have to mail your financial documents to them, and they'll start to prepare your I-20. And the I-20 is like the proof of your why you are going to be America, and you need to bring it to the visa interview. And when it comes to the visa interview, just bring your I-20, your passport, and some other documents that can help you to prove that what are you going to do in America. And normally you will be asked questions like what program will you be in, and what's the name of your universities, how long will you going to stay in America. And you just be prepared for these questions. It won't be very difficult. And when it comes to the travel arrangements, once you got your I-20, I think it's the time to prepare for your travel. You should be able to book your airplane tickets online, and don't wait until the last minute because it'll be really expensive. And also you have to check about the syllabus with your academic advisor, and sometimes you will have some courses, the pre-request courses in the summer holiday, and so you need to get to the United States a little bit earlier, so make sure about your syllabus, and then you can start to book your airplane tickets. And it'll be better you can contact someone that you're familiar with in America that can pick you up in the airports and help you to find an accommodation to stay in the first day that you came to America. And so Anki will introduce you about
Okay, yeah.
One point I wanted to make about the visa interview is that your embassy, you're going to go to the U.S. Embassy in your country, and what they're looking to determine is, are you planning on staying here indefinitely? And that's something that can impact whether you are granted the F1 visa or not. So they really want to hear that you have plans to return to your home country after your graduate program, whether that is true or not. So really, when you're in the visa interview, you do want to state your answers to the fact that you will be returning to your home country. We had a number of students denied in the past year at the visa interview, and we broke it down to the reason being was that they didn't show with enough evidence that they intended to return back to their country. And now Anniket's going to talk a little bit about once you arrive to the U.S. and how to find accommodations and so forth.
One more thing about the financial documents. So it's going to vary, how much money you have to show in your financial documents is going to vary from program to program. Typically, in order to get an I-20, you need to show 1 year's cost of being in the program that you're in, plus a certain amount of living expenses, which usually can vary anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000, depending on where you're living. So that the International Student Services Office at any school that you go to will be the ones who tell you how much money you need to show. So just to give you a typical idea of how much you're going to need to show in your financial documents. So now I'm going to turn it over to Anniket.
Hi, my name is Aniket Dharup and I'm from India. I'm pursuing my master's in information systems at Robinson College of Business right now. So first I'll cover finding apartments and roommates. Probably there are a couple of things that international students especially have to worry about is finding an apartment here. There are multiple services like ProMove. There are services like websites on apartment guides that you can find on particular city that you can visit and see. Roommates, for roommates you have social medias, you have Facebook, you have Edulix. So forums like these have a particular section where you can actually find roommates from your country, from your city, where actually you can have an interaction with them and then decide whether to stay with them. And you also have websites where you can actually get to know different people from different cultures and then decide where exactly to stay in the city. When we talk about the culture in US, after everything that you have completed and once you're here, uh, I guess the two major differences that you would find are like the first in study pattern. One would be you have to do a mandatory internship when it comes to Robinson College of Business. You obviously have to do an internship for my program. Uh, that this option is not available in most of the countries while studying. The second thing would be the difference like uh, different things that you do here while you're searching for jobs. Like networking is one of the major difference that I found out when I was looking for a job. Uh, Networking is something that you go for events and meet recruiters, meet with different students from different universities, and get to know what they have studied. And then from these events, you get down to a particular interviews. Then you go down to have a job in certain fields. The third thing that I'll be covering would be living in Atlanta. I guess from a student perspective, Atlanta is the one of the best places to stay. It is one of the most affordable places to stay right now. Being a big city, it gives you an advantage that it has a growing job market, as Felipe covered, that it has major offices of Coca-Cola, Delta, and still the living expense for a student would be less here in Atlanta. Second, from an international student's perspective, would be the weather. The weather is pleasant all around the year in Atlanta, which is a plus factor for me personally. I guess those would be the points that I would like to cover here.
Yeah, and one nice thing that a lot of their international students like is that because you're in Atlanta, we have the world's busiest airport. So if you're trying to visit or, you know, go somewhere else in the U.S. or get home, it's not hard and usually not too expensive to go anywhere from that airport. So that's another advantage. And additionally, as Aniket was mentioning, Atlanta is about 30% cheaper than the three other major cities in the U.S., LA, New York, and DC. So it's really an affordable option for students who are in their graduate programs.
It also has like the public transport is great here. So if you're staying in a particular part in the city, you always have a connectivity to different parts by train or bus. The public transport here is called MARTA. The connectivity is great. The place where I stay, we have a station right next to us, and we have a great connectivity to our college and to the place where we work. So I guess that is also a plus when you stay in Atlanta.
Great. All right. And now we're going to turn it over to Catherine to talk a little bit about what it's like to get a job in the U.S.
Hi everyone. I think that's a topic that everybody wants to know. The first I want to talk about is, as my friends and they mentioned here, like the first thing I came to United States. On the first day, when I attended international student orientation, the thing I've learned, the word is networking, also means get involved. Here, unlike some other countries or some other parts of the world, United States is a place that people like to interact with each other. Here, we have study, but we also have life. We need to work, but after work, we need to interact with people, and so network is a key, I think. While I'm still attending school, I try to involved with student organizations and meet with advisors, professors, peers, my classmates, and also the recruiter from us, from the big companies. And for us, of me, I have participated in the Beta Alpha Psi, which is an honor accounting society for accounting and finance students. In Georgia State, Robinson College of Business, we have various organizations for each majors, and I would highly recommend all of you to get participate in those organizations. You can make friends, and also it's a way for to support you all the way to your career. As Asian here at Georgia State, we also have a club called Ascend, which is for Asian student only, and also we have other clubs for Latino student, and also some variety of student groups. For the job process, I really appreciate, and I'm really glad I am in the Georgia State, because my undergrad was in a college town. We are a great school, but as a business student, the job opportunity is very limited because of the state and the school location. Once I moved to Atlanta, I can sense the city, and I can sense the real metro city. And our school is right at the downtown of Atlanta. We are surrounded by all the big firms. Like accounting-wise, we have all big four companies here, as well as other industry companies. This is a great advantage for our business students in particular. And also some of our professors as CEOs, CFOs from the big firms, so they can teach us some hands-on experience, which I think is very unique and helpful for our business students. For the job process, our school has the very good job career management team. We will have the career expo every semester. This is a great opportunity for each of us to meet with a firm and to present ourselves. And throughout the semester, throughout the student organization, we got the chance to know the firm, because they come to our school to present their company, so we can have the first-hand information. Other than that, we also have the opportunity to do the office visit. Before I start to look for a job, I have visited 3 big four accounting firms, and so that I would have a better understanding, as well as better opportunities when I got to make my decision when I have the job offer. That is the general idea of the job process for most of the school, I believe. And the next topic is CPT and OPT. CPT is the document and process that we need to get if we have the job offer or internship offer while we are still attending school as international students. This is the process we can finish with the help with our school international student services office, as well as your major department chairman. Those kind of information can be found in most schools' website. Just visit the student service scholars office. And the OPT is the similar thing, but the stuff that we'll do after the graduation. As most of the business major, we have 12 months after we graduate from school. However, as a STEM, which stands for
Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Thank you. Those students, they have up to 29 months upon graduation to, within this period, it's a time for us to find a job here and get all the paperwork done. For the paperwork, I mean, it's our next topic, H-1B visa, which is this, as a student, we have F-1 visa. As if we find a job and the company is willing to sponsor us, our visa status will change from F1 to H1B. And as of this year, the H1B application is very competitive, and each year will start on April 1st. So, which means before that, before April, you need to get a job, get an offer, and also the company is willing to sponsor your H1B visa. This is not easy. However, it is very fortunate for our student, at least at Georgia State. It's not extremely difficult to find the H1B sponsored companies, as many of our friends said before, that because we are a major city and we are the headquarters for many Fortune 500 companies. And because of our school's good relationship with the with the firms, and many companies around us already have international students work for them before, so they have experience and they also have this kind of relationship. So it won't be too hard, but again, it's not easy for everybody, like for anyone from any school in the United States. But I would say our school definitely has a good advantage on that issue.
Great.
Good question.
Yeah, so we're gonna just, before we can start talking a little bit about Robinson, we're gonna ask a few questions about just to the students and get their answers. So first we're gonna start with Felipe, and our first question is, what are the key differences between living and studying in the U.S. and your country?
I think, like saying, I'm from Colombia, it's a developing country, it's growing fast, but things are happening in the US. US is like the business pole in the world. So, for example, I just started university, but my teachers are very high ranked. All of them are PhD, very good experience. They have the academic and the professional experience. I think that's one of the key points of studying in the US, because when I was studying in Colombia, you normally see cases from US, and now you're in US studying cases from US from a teacher who has done the same thing or work in, for example, teachers from, I don't know, a case from American Airlines, and that teacher worked in American Airlines. So they have like the real experience of what's happening here. I think that's one of the big advantages of being here.
Great. Catherine?
I would say, since I'm from China, the biggest challenge and also the advantage I get when I get here is I can tailor my education. I can find the right major that specifically fit for me, not everybody else. As an international student, especially student from China, our challenge would be what I want to do, what's the major I should study. Most of us have no idea. However, the U.S. education that is not the kind of like manufacturer, they can specifically tailor the education for you, that you can have your time to think about it. Even if you are on one program, it doesn't work out, that's fine. You can switch. You can study while you are networking with others. You talk to people, and until you find the right major, right career you want to be, you can always switch and study from there. So that's the part I like the most.
Keith?
I think studying in America is quite different from my country, because the courses can be really intensive. And last semester, I studied really hard than when I was in China. Um, because all of your classmates, a lot of them just from America, but you are from some other countries, you have to face the problems that sometimes you can't understand what a professor are talking about, and you have to like do more research on all the resources you can find, and also you have to contact your professor and sometimes to just talk about the problems you have met in your study. And also, it's just like what Catherine has said. Sometimes you may find you don't know what major you are going to choose. I can choose a dual degree here in Georgia State University, and a lot of students they can also choose a dual degree, but it's two different, really different majors. Maybe a master in accounting and then MBA or master in mathematical risk management. Some of my classmates are doing this kind of programs. So it's not a big problem for you if you feel that you don't like your program right now. You can just make a change, and it won't happen in China. Once you got your major, it's really hard for you to switch in another program. So it's quite different in America, and I think it's really great for international students. You can get more chances for you to find what you are really looking for, and you can get a job that you like.
For me, it would be pretty similar to what these guys said. I did my undergrad in computer engineering, and then I had a very few options of choosing my major. And then when I researched of different masters here in US, I got various options, and then I was pretty sure that I wanted to do information systems. In the courses were very tailored to a particular stream, and I guess that personally I like, and people would get different opportunities here when they come to US. The difference, as I mentioned earlier, it would be the difference in the study pattern and the job hunting pattern. It's pretty different from what we have in India. And I guess, but that's a major plus here. You get to meet different people, you have various opportunities here, and definitely it helps in having a great career when you come down to US.
Thank you. Our next question is, what tips do you have to others considering studying in the U.S.? Felipe.
My personal view, it's good to have like someone in the US that advise you at the beginning, because when you arrive to a place and you don't know like where to start, like if you want to get a car, if you want to get a driving license, if you want to get a house, so try to have like someone from your country or in Facebook or whatever that can give you like advice. Try to live near to the university, an affordable but a good place. I think these small tips helps you a lot, because I cannot say I arrived like a month and a half ago, and at the beginning was like a little bit tough, even if I had people that I knew here in the US. So small tips can help you to have a better life, especially at the beginning.
Catherine?
I would say, like I mentioned previously, that to network, to get involved. No matter you're here to study or just here to get the experience, I think it won't hurt you when you get involved in the, like, to interact with local people. Other than that, I would say if you are in business school, pick a school that with a good location, which means they have the they have big companies around them, other than just focusing on the ranking. Ranking is great, however, the good location is a very good advantage for business school.
All right, Keith?
I think that you should review the textbook and all the resources the professor has provided before the class, and so we can get to know the general idea about this class, and so you can understand the professor better. And you should also interact with all your classmates, especially those classmates from United States or some other countries. Just don't be like you just interact with like I'm from country. I just play with the Chinese students. It won't help you too much.
For me, it would be like coming here as early as possible and getting adjusted to the new place and then starting the course as it starts. Probably that would be the one thing for me.
All right, well, thank you to everyone for sharing your thoughts, and I'm going to just start to talk a little bit about Robinson College of Business. I'll kind of go through it briefly, and then we'll open it up for questions. So as you can see on the slide, the Robinson College of Business is the 8th largest business school in the U.S. We have over 80,000 alumni, and 40,000 of them are in Atlanta. So we are well known worldwide and ranked 25th in the nation among public universities. A couple of our departments, for example, our RMI department is ranked 4th in the country, and our computer information systems program is ranked 10th in the country. And now I'll tell you a little bit about the portfolio of programs that we offered. As my colleagues mentioned, we have a lot of programs to offer here at Robinson College of Business. We have 4 MBA programs and 19 specialized masters. So you have a lot of options, and it depends on what you're looking for. For our MBA programs, we have a flexible MBA program, which is more of the traditional MBA program. We also have a global partners program where you get to study in 4 different continents. You get a dual degree. And then we have our professional MBA for those who have a lot of work experience. And then our executive MBA for the C-level associates who want to get that really advanced professional degree. And then our specialized masters. I'll tell you a little bit more about them in just a second. So just to talk a little bit about what's the difference between an MBA versus a specialized master's. So an MBA is the general business degree, and typically you have the option to concentrate in that specific area. It's very well known around the world. A lot of people have MBAs. So it usually requires work experience. That's one of the main differences. A lot of specialized master's programs don't really require work experience. So if you're coming straight from undergrad, the specialized master's might be the way for you to go. But like I said, a lot of people have MBAs, so the supply of MBAs is very high across the world, which means that while it's well regarded, there's a lot of people who have them. So if you know that the specific area that you want to go into, you might want to consider it a specialized master's. They're kind of on the rise in the US right now, and I would say Robinson College of Business is one of the first to kind of go into that area with so many different specialized masters. I believe we're one of the schools with the most specialized masters in the US. So that's something to take a look at. I'll put up a slide in just a moment so you can see what the different programs we offer. Our specialized masters also take a little bit shorter to complete. They're usually about a year and 10 courses, whereas an MBA can typically be around 2 years and up to 5. So it really depends on what you're looking for. Both of them offer STEM programs, so if you have an MBA in information systems or you want to get an MS in analytics, they're STEM with the 29 months that Catherine talked about of OPT. And typically with the specialized masters, they're in high demand as far as careers and jobs. People are looking for students that have that specialized degree. So that's just a general difference of MBA versus specialized masters in the US. So as I mentioned, our flexible MBA is probably our most popular MBA program where you can concentrate in 19 different options. And so what you'll do is you'll take the general business courses and then you can focus with about 6 courses in one specific area. Not every MBA program offers this, but this is what we offer at Georgia State. And that's one of the things we really pride ourselves on, is that we have lots of different options for you. As they all mentioned, that kind of makes us different than a lot of other schools. And then we also have our specialized masters. So we have 2 different types of specialized masters, a 1-year and a flexible. The 1 year is obviously can be done in 12 months. And then the flexible is, they can be done in 1 year, but they don't have to be done in 1 year. It's not as set of a course sequence, whereas the 1 year is your lockstep in a cohort system. And as you can see, all the different areas that you can specialize or you can get your master's in. So I just wanted to go through that really quick so that we have some time for questions. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions. Please feel free to type them in the chat box. And if you want to direct it at a specific person, please feel free to do that. Felipe, Catherine, Keith, and Annika, and then Allison and I can answer any other questions you guys might have, okay?